suggest we proceed with the program. We have the first keynote speech by Professor George Papatheodorou from the Laboratory of Marine Geology and Physical Oceanography, Department of Geology, University of Patras, Greece. New investigative methodologies and technologies in marine geoarchaeology. Professor Papatheodorou. If I may correct, it's George Papatheodorou and Maria Gearchaeology.
Good morning to everyone. First of all, I would like to thank deeply the organizing committee of this amazing conference and for giving me the opportunity to share with you a few ideas about the marine geoarchaeology. Actually, a few things I know about marine geoarchaeology. And first of all, I would like to thank Maria Gearchaeology and the members of the Oceanus Lab. Without them, I would be almost nothing. So, there is no doubt that the coastal zone is very, very, very important for the evolution of the human civilization and archaeological findings and human navigation routes suggest that the archaeology in the Mediterranean Sea, mainly in the Mediterranean Sea, goes back to millions of years ago. At least from prehistoric Paleolithic actually times, the coastal areas appear to be very, very important due to a variety of reasons, like the greater ecological diversity, better groundwater supplies. This is further supported by findings in underwater archaeological sites where we have discovered a lot of freshwater, submarine freshwater discharges, more agreeable climatic condition, and of course more productive condition for plant and animals compared to the land environment and availability of marine resources and cargo. We have all experienced with submerged archaeological sites, like the submerged fortification in Sunio, provided by Calliope, Baika, of course the amazing findings in Libya, and the two very important prehistoric settlements in the southern Peloponnesus, in Pavlopetri and in the Methoni, which is located now 3 to 6 meters below the present sea level, and actually we are starting this site in collaboration with the California State University, with the San Diego Tourist Clips Institution. And so there are, okay, it's my first time there. So the main factors, there are three main factors for the submergence, the subsidence of the coastal landscapes. As you know, the first is the eustatic factor due to the ice melting. The second is the hydroglacier isostatic due to the rebound of the land caused by the release by the ice cover, and of course the tectonic force, which are very, very common situation in the Mediterranean Sea. I like very much a statement published by Labeck back in 2002. The sea level rise of the last glacial, interglacial cycle has caused dramatic changes in the coastal zones, which have actually resulted the coastal landscapes and thus the coastal prehistoric and historic settlements to submerge. It's a clear truth. It's really clear truth. Okay, how extensive the submerged prehistoric landscape is? Its extent or its less extent? I think that the answer gave the project Splascos, published this very nice map showing the prehistoric Europe And as you can see, a significant part of the prehistoric Europe, is now under the present sea level, especially in the Baltic Sea and the North Sea, but some certain areas inside the Mediterranean, actually. But, of course, we have another component, and the component is the marine traffic, the conductivity between all those coasts, the islands, and the ports, which are very, very dense network of communication from the late Bronze Age. It's very impressive that in the Roman period, the Mediterranean was better connected to any point of the Mediterranean Sea compared until to the 19th century. And this is really very, very impressive. As a result, we have a lot of shipwrecks resting on the sea floor. 4 of them are studied by our lab in collaboration with our very best colleagues, archaeologists, I mean, in the Kefalonia, the Fiscardo shipwreck, the Mazotos shipwreck. It's a very nice shipwreck, excavated and studied in detail by Stella Domestica, and of course, a shipwreck in Corsica by Drasm, and of course, Modi shipwreck excavated by Christos Agoulidis and Milton Michalis of the Hellenic Institute of Marine Archaeology. I can hear your thoughts. Are there equipments to study all this amazing submerged landscape and the shipwrecks? Yes, definitely yes. We have a lot of research vessels, conventional research vessel actually, but even prototype with balloons and small boats. But on the other hand, now we have a lot of robotic systems, a lot of autonomous systems, like the unmanned surface vehicle, which is, according to my opinion, a very effective tool to study extremely shallow water of the coastal zone. And we can equip these platforms with echo sounder, even with multi-beam echo sounder, with side-scan sonar and cameras. And now this period we try to install in this USV a ultra-high resolution sub-bottom profiling system. And of course we have ROVs and AUVs, we know them very well for ground truthing, but not only for ground truthing, but for even for photogrammetry. Regarding the sensors, we have the multi-beam. It's a very crucial system to produce very detailed bathymetric maps. And you know, every bathymetric map is a base map for every underwater archaeological survey. And of course, we have the side-scan sonar. You know it very well. It's a system that provides two-dimensional images of the sea floor based on the morphology and the texture of the material of the seabed. And it's an ideal system for detecting shipwreck, historical, modern, and ancient shipwreck. And we have the sub-bottom profiling system to penetrate under the seabed. We need an ultra-high resolution sub-bottom profiling system with a penetration of few meters, but with a resolution about 5 centimeters, vertical resolution of 5 centimeters, in order to detect any kind of items, archaeological items covered by the sediments, but also to detect the submerged paleoshorelines in order to reconstruct the paleogeography of the coastal zone. For me, the marine magnetometer is a nightmare. I mean, the data, to proceed the data, it's a nightmare. But it's a very effective tool, not only to detect ferrous material, but also amphoras, because the amphoras contains the mineral magnetite. So every zinc amphora has a very certain magnetic signal. So in this Mazotos shipwreck, together with Stella, we did an experiment in order to study the magnetic signal of an Asian shipwreck. And of course, we have ROVs, USVs, and AUVs, not only for ground truth, like I said before, but for photogrammetry. And a full marine geoarchaeological survey must contain actually sediment collection, sediment coring, to study the sedimentological processes around archaeological site, to study the site formation processes, and of course for datings of the findings. Some examples. This is a high-resolution side-scan sonograph of the sister ship of the Titanic, the Britannic, that sank in 1916 in North Turkey. You can see the funnel here, one of the 4 funnels. This is another shipwreck, the ocean liner Burdigala, that sank the same week with the Britannic, probably by the same U-boat. The shipwreck is cut in 2 pieces, and you can see, you can see a wire connecting the two pieces of the 2 parts of the shipwreck. A very nice historic shipwreck here in the science-scan sonar. In the science-scan sonar record with 2 anchors and a cluster of cannons, and you can see the visual inspection of this area carried out by DRASM. And of course, side-scan sonar is a very nice system for detecting ancient shipwrecks, actually the amphoras cargo. This is the Kefalonia shipwreck, and this is another shipwreck in Chaska, in Croatia. Yes, it was a very nice project with Irena Radic, Rossi Radic. Regarding the subbottom profiling, I would like to mention a very nice survey that carried out in the Belakia Bay, which is very close to the area that the Salamina famous battle took place, in collaboration with the University of Ioannina, with Yannis Lolos and the Hellenic Institute of Marine Archaeology. We use a polyparametric subbottom profiling system, and we detect some very nice targets of potential interest just 1 meter below the sea floor. And we did another exercise. I love the exercises very much, as you can understand. So we collect a lot of data, a lot of seismic profiles in the same area in order to recover 3D information about the structure of the sediments in this specific area. And this is the results. If the window, I don't know, explain it or not. Technology is technology always. Forget technology.
I will show it.
Okay, later. So, based on the above, there are 3 actually distinct sets of data and information. The first is the wide range of remote sensing techniques and the ground truth techniques. The second set is the natural environment, the marine environment and the natural processes of the marine environment. And the third is the underwater cultural sites characteristics. So the common overlapping space of 3 sets is the marine geoarchaeology. We need remote sensing techniques. We need to know the natural processes and of course to know in detail the underwater cultural heritage in order to have a very nice marine geoarchaeological survey, which is an emerging scientific field. Yes, there are 2 general sections of the marine geoarchaeology. The first is the detection of the shipwreck. Detection and investigation of ancient and historic shipwrecks lying on the seafloor or partly buried in it. And this sector actually leads to the detection of and mapping of the shipwrecks remains, and of course the study of the site formation around the shipwrecks, which is a very challenging and very promising approach. And of course, we have the second section, which is actually referred to the submerged archaeological landscapes, and this section leads to the paleogeographic reconstruction of the coastal environment at the very specific areas of great archaeological importance. In order to design a marine geoarchaeological survey, we can organize in two distinct phases. No, I changed my mind, in three distinct phases. During the first phase, a systematic survey of the seafloor using remote sensing techniques are carried out. The important thing of this first phase is that we can actually survey vast areas at a very rapid pace. Mind that we can map in detail with all those systems about 10 to 15 square kilometers per day. And this is very, very important in order to detect unknown underwater archaeological sites. The second is a downscaling approach, the ground truthing approach, and during the second phase we have to visually inspect the results of the first remote sensing phase. And finally, we have the photogrammetry phase, and we need for this divers, but also ROVs and other autonomous platforms in order to capture and reconstruct 3D models of underwater assets. So, after 30 years of collaboration with some amazing persons, many of them in this conference hall, I would like briefly to present you 3 case studies. Are you okay with this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The first is the detection and investigation of Asian shipwreck, and start with this multi-beam, very detailed multi-beam bathymetric map showing at the north of Kefalonia. The red color represents hard substrate, rock substrate, and this is actually the offshore continuation of a peninsula of the north side of Kefalonia, but to the south there is a very small mound. If we can go close to this, you can see this mound, which is actually 250 square kilometers in an extent, 1 to 1.2 meters elevation compared to the surrounding seafloor, and the length is about 30 meters and the width is 12 meters. It's a very promising target actually. The size can show a record. We use a lot of sensors for 100 kilohertz to 900 kilohertz. I would like to mention here the higher frequency, the higher resolution. In the 900 kilohertz, there is no doubt that there is a cargo of Asian shipwreck. And this is a very nice, actually, shipwreck scene, if I can say this. You can see here the rock outcropping. Actually, the existence of rock outcropping introduced a lot of uncertainties in our detection for the ancient shipwreck. Now we have developed actually an algorithm for automatic distinguish the shipwrecks from the rock outcrops. And of course, we have here some anchoring marks, very smooth sea floor, and an unknown target there. In this area and above the shipwreck, we collect very high resolution subbottom data, and this acoustic echo, this very unique acoustic echo, which is chaotic to full of hyperbolic echoes, represent the shipwreck. The seabed is covered by a thin veneer of sandy material of a thickness of about 1 meter, and we did another exercise. We try actually to examine the modification of the sediment regime and the sedimentation processes around this shipwreck. And we digitize the seafloor, the shipwreck, and of course the bedrock below the seabed in order to have an estimation about the thickness of the sediments. And you can see here that at the southwestern part of the shipwreck there is a very nice sediment accumulation due to the currents that are flowing over the seabed. These sites can show a high-resolution record. You can see that the shipwreck is divided in 3 pieces, and we have some scattered amphoras around the shipwreck, and very nice, if I can say this, small-scale tongue-like debris of amphoras, probably as a result of the crashing of the seabed, or of the vessel into the seabed, or in later periods. And this is a game between the photogrammetry and the site scansonar record. Let's go to the second section about the paleogeographic reconstruction of the coastal areas of archaeological importance, and we have to move further to the south at the Egina Ancient Harbour. It's a project of our lab in collaboration with Kalliopi Baika, Parika Lamara, and Despina Kutsuba, and it's an amazing project because it is an amazing submerged harbor. Look at here, the 3D representation of the multi-beam data of the submerged structure of the ancient harbor. Here, you can see the northern breakwater, the southern breakwater, and this amazing series of artificial concept rubble structure for the protection of the harbor from the weather and from the enemy. So, based on the morphological characteristics, we divide the ancient harbor structure in 3 areas. The northern area, which consists of the breakwater and 3 clusters of cone features with openings of about 65 to 80 meters in width. But the most bad section of this submerged harbor is the central area, which is heavily affected, really heavily affected by the entrance of the modern harbor of Egina. You can see here some completely damaged construction on the sea floor. Another view from the land. And this is the southern end of the ancient Egina harbor regarding the existence of the cones. And this is a huge cone, which is triple in size compared to the other ones. And the water depth of the top of this cone is about 2.92 meters, which is the tallest cone in the area. And some future work here, because in the southern breakwater is connected with 2 unknown mounds by an elongated feature. So, a future work with Espinapari and Kalliopi. Some estimation now, we actually calculate the mean size of the cone, the mean size of the stones, and we can estimate that every single cone consists of about 16,000 stones. It is a great offshore technical work of that period. Really, really impressive. And actually, we finalized our survey, designed this very nice map showing the functionality of the Essen harbor together with the scenarios of the sea level rise. And I think this is a very nice base map for the next, the future archaeological missions there. And the third and final stop is Alexandria. The half of my heart actually belongs to Alexandria. This part of the presentation is dedicated to Zani Vemperer and Haris Jalas, who invited us 20 years ago in Alexandria. We had great time there, really. So, Alexandria is a very narrow strip of sand separating the Mediterranean Sea from the Lake Mariot. At the front of Alexandria, there is the Pharos Island, where the famous lighthouse actually used to stand. This is the famous Eptastadium, a technical work that separates the coastal zone in two main harbors. The Great Harbor, or Megas Limin, and Western Harbor, or Evnostos Limin. And of course, the eastern part of the Great Port is limited by the Cape, by the Accra Lochias. It's very, very impressive that Strabo gave a very nice description of entering the Great Port of Alexandria. Entering the Great Port, the lighthouse on the Pharos Island lies to the right, while on the left are seen scattered blocks, please mind this information, and Cape Lochias with the palace standing on it. In the route of the time, actually, due to the salutation of the harbor and the development of the modern city of Alexandria, a lot of things have been covered by recent deposits. So we start a survey, we produce this nice map. We can see here some linear feature running almost parallel to the present day shoreline of Alexandria, and we interpret all those features as memories of submerged shorelines due to the sea level rise the last 20,000 years. The most striking feature among them is this very nice ridge, the Ridge 1, which is located about 1 kilometer offshore the entrance of the Great Port of Alexandria. And now the top of this ridge is at a water depth between 11 or 12 meters, if I remember well, Maria. 11 or 12? 12?
8.
No, you are wrong, I'm right. As always. So, this is, again, the ridge, and this is the side scan sonar. If you dive in this ridge, the ridge it's completely plumb due to the erosive action of the waves. And in that survey, actually, we collected a lot of data regarding the submerged antiquities, the submerged archaeological items. Zani Vemperem actually discovered about 2,500 architecture items from Pharos and the surrounding areas. Frank Gauthier mapped the submerged royal harbors, and Jondet back in 1912 to 1916 discovered a lot of submerged, probably breakwaters at the south and at the Evnostos harbor. I'm very proud about this site sonar record, showing the submerged royal harbors inside the Great Harbor of Alexandria. This island is the Antiochos Island, the Demonium, the site of the Temple of Isis. This is the central entrance, and this is the secondary entrance with some very nice breakwater works in these famous submerged harbors. Those harbors are now about 6.5 meters below the present sea level, and this is the relative position inside the Great Harbor. We gather all the available information, and we suggest a scenario of 8 meters subsidence of Alexandria from its establishment to date. 8 meter subsidence. This means that the 8 meter isobath was the coastline of the Hellenistic period of Alexandria. We go there again, we collect some data, geophysical data, and indeed, finally, we discover some very nice bathymetric scarps indicating the paleo shoreline at water depth of 8 meters. So, based on this scenario, we reconstruct actually the coastal configuration of Hellenistic Alexandria. An amazing, a very huge part of Akras Lochias has been submerged under the sea floor, under the under the sea surface. And this is a very nice area for further studies. The entrance of the Great Harbor was very, very narrow, 600 meters compared to 1,700 meters today. A lot of existence small reefs above the sea level at the entrance of the harbor remind the description of Strabo. The Strabo was right. And of course, the most important thing is the rocky ridge. The rocky ridge now is about 11 to 12 meters, but during the period of Hellenistic Alexandria, the top of the ridge was at 3 meters. This means that the ridge is a natural, ideal, I can say, breakwater protecting the entrance of the harbor from the heavy waters of the Mediterranean, but at the same time, it was a death trap from the ancient mariners. Zanif and his team actually discovered more than 40 shipwrecks on the top of this ridge. And if we can extrapolate the subsidence rate backwards, we can say that this is the situation during the establishment of Alexandria, during the Rhakotis period, during the Middle Bronze Age, during the Old Kingdom, and during the Hardened Kingdom. And you can see backward again the sea level rise. So, instead of concluding remarks, I suggest to go a short trip in the Hellenistic Alexandria. This is the island Pharos with the lighthouse, the stadium, the Akralochias, the Hellenistic Alexandria, the Lake Mariut with the harbor of Lake Mariut. We don't know where it is. And now, actually, we are there on board of this small vessel. The weather is good. And sailing now to the entrance of the harbor, but at the front of the vessel there is something, there are some waves, breaking waves, so I remove the water now to see this ridge. So we have to sail first to the east, to the Palestine, then we have turned to the south and turn again straight to the lighthouse in order to enter to the great harbor of Alexandria. There is a very nice basin, as you can see. We discover another shipwreck here. And this is the entrance of the ancient harbor and the submerged, now submerged royal harbors. I would like to thank a lot of people, a lot of amazing people and colleagues the last 30 years. Many of them are in this conference call, as I said before. Thank you for your time.